Number 10. Han Solo. No, Han Solo did not get possessed, he was the thing doing the possessing. One look at this stormtrooper toy is already enough to make you feel like it's cursed. Han Solo's lifeless eyes staring out into space are enough to put you on edge, and as much as I thought Harrison Ford was a hottie in the movies, I just can't get past those eyes. So take in its unsettling visual appearance and then the way it apparently haunts the people who own it. The person selling it said that when they came into ownership of the toy, they started experiencing strange and terrifying things. That's because there is apparently a spirit trapped inside the toy who perished in a house fire, his soul coming to possess the stormtrooper. As a result, anyone who owns the toy will be haunted by hallucinations of a house on fire, and you apparently can't escape it when you go to sleep either. It will reportedly give you nightly nightmares of the man who died screaming while the house around him is engulfed in flames.
In our number 9 spot, we have a zombie mug. Merch like this makes me terrified but also excited. This mug is super creepy though, and most definitely cursed. This is a mug that, when heated, a zombie appears in the cup with blood on its hands. The zombie's face is quite chilling that it actually feels like there's some kind of spirit attached to it. Anyone else? The zombie is also like pretty bloody too, no thanks. Definitely stay away from this product unless you like dealing with dark spirits, then by all means go for it.
Number 8. Teddy bear. While some haunted items may definitely look the part, being torn up, withered, and maybe having that soulless look in their eyes, there are some possessed artifacts that actually look pretty unassuming. For one, this adorable little teddy bear that I found. His name is Joshua and he's pretty cute, but he also apparently sets off EMF readers and is possessed by an angry, restless spirit. The people selling it found him at an estate sale, and apparently when they held the teddy bear, they immediately started to feel upset, overwhelmed, and anxious. They used a spirit box to try and communicate with whoever was possessing the doll, and it responded that he felt alone. Apparently being an old man who had recently passed away and has been unable to come to terms with the fact that they're dead. Because of this, they are apparently trying to latch on to someone to continue their life and not need to accept that they're dead. Number 7. Haunted bra. Let's follow that up with something a little bit weirder. Not a haunted teddy bear, but instead a haunted bra. While possession is a big scary word, it may not always have to be a bad thing, as this item claimed. The person selling this size 32A bra says that it is haunted by a woman who lived a life of many romantic adventures and wild partying. When she died, she somehow attached her spirit to the bra. If you wear the bra, you will find yourself having the same romantic success that she did in her life. It's also said that if you light a candle by the bra, the woman's spirit will appear, and if the candle is red, the woman will possess you and you will have a quote erotic encounter with the spiritual world. I'm not quite sure exactly what that would be and what it would include, but I'm about to place an Amazon order for a bulk pack of red candles for a totally unrelated reason. Number 6. Anguished man. Haunted paintings are nothing new and have supposedly been around for centuries, so let's take a look at a few that have been put up for sale on eBay and have apparently come to haunt and possess those who own them. The first is called the Anguished Man painting, and it's honestly pretty horrifying, definitely a man in anguish. The person selling it described it as a haunting paranormal portrait, and yeah, that seems pretty accurate. Here's how the seller described the painting affecting him. Since owning this painting, I have experienced a number of strange paranormal events that cannot be easily explained. These include hearing disembodied footsteps from elsewhere in the house, the sound of birdsong appearing out of the air in the living room, and finally observing a heavy metal door latch lift by itself and the kitchen door open by itself. He goes on to say that this is a great gift for a less than loved one. Number 5. The hands resist him. This painting is probably one of the most well-known haunted paintings. If you've been taking a drink every time I say haunted, I'm concerned for your health. The painting is titled The Hands Resist Him and shows a young boy with a large doll of a girl and disembodied hands reaching out behind them. A couple in California discovered the painting in a brewery but didn't keep it for long, as they became convinced it had supernatural powers and was affecting their life, putting it up for sale on eBay. The listing included a warning that said, "This painting may or may not possess supernatural powers that could impact or change your life." The boy and girl in the painting would apparently fight each other, and at one point the boy reportedly vanished from the painting. It's also said that it will possess you and affect your mental health, as people who even just saw photos of the painting reported feeling sick and depressed. Number 4. DIBBUK box. A DIBBUK, spelt with either a Y or an I, is a term from Jewish folklore that refers to a person's spirit that is stuck in purgatory, having the ability to possess items or even people. So the DIBBUK box that this person is selling apparently has a person's spirit trapped inside. When he originally purchased it, they told him to never open it, but he didn't heed that warning and did it, keeping the box in his basement. Shortly afterwards, he returned to the basement and found that all of the lights had been smashed and there was an incredibly foul smell in the air. He didn't figure out that it was caused by the box at first, and so he ended up giving it as a gift to his mother. Soon after, his mother suffered from a massive stroke. In the hospital, she managed to write out the words "hate gift," referring to the box. Then everyone in his family started having the same recurring nightmare, and he finally decided that he needed to sell the box and remove its control from him and his family. Number 3. Carving. This eerie and sad-looking carved man was found by the seller's grandparents in the attic of their new home back in the 1950s. They asked the original owners where it had come from, and they said it was a gift from a prisoner who had carved it. The carving apparently became possessed, though whether it contained the spirit of the prisoner or somebody else, I don't know. Anybody who owned it would start experiencing strange occurrences around the home, and the spirit in the statue attempting to reach out and take over their body, not wanting to be trapped inside an inanimate object. The seller said that the television would turn on and off, lights would flicker, and kids' toys would turn on even if they contained no batteries. Anyone who came close to it would apparently experience strange feelings like the carving was attempting to communicate with them. Number 2. Haunted statue. Next up, we have another artistic piece that is apparently haunted by the restless and angry spirit of its deceased creator. The seller said that this piece was created by a man named William, who worked construction and would spend his spare time making statues out of clay. This specific statue, which is pretty creepy on its own by the way, was made the same day that William passed away in a freak accident on the construction site. When a co-worker later returned to the site, they saw that the statue was still there, so he decided to pick it up and take it home with him. As soon as he got home, strange things started happening. Doors would slam with no explanation, lights would turn on and off, decorations near the statue would be shattered and destroyed, and sometimes the statue would turn around and face different directions. He said he also felt unwell mentally and would sometimes see a strange shadow next to the statue, deciding he needed to be rid of it and putting it on eBay. Related anecdote from my childhood, when I was a kid I had a 2x4 piece of wood that I painted a face on and I named it Steve. And he was absolutely terrifying, so me and my siblings would hide him around the house, like in cupboards and under pillows, in order to freak each other out. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I was a pretty weird kid. Number 1. Haunted dolls. Finally, we get to talk about the haunted dolls that will apparently try to ruin your life and possess you. In researching this video, I went down a rabbit hole and learned that there is an entire market on eBay dedicated to selling dolls that have apparently become the home of various different spirits. They are listed with what kind of spirit is inhabiting them, whether it be a happy one, an angry one, or even one with motherly intentions. The descriptions usually tell stories of where they found the doll, how the spirit died, and what things will happen to people who own it. They are also sometimes stated to be beginner friendly or not beginner friendly, I guess basing that on how much experience you have with dolls with ghosts inside of them.
Starting off at our number 10 spot, we have the Blarney Stone. For hundreds of years, the Blarney Stone has resided within Blarney Castle, which is near Cork, Ireland. The stone is a piece of limestone, and legend says that those who give the stone a smooch will then be given the gift of the gab. This little smooch can bestow the power of being able to talk your way out of any situation, which would be incredibly useful, but there are always those who try to indulge in too much of a good thing. The issues start when you attempt to take a piece of the stone, no matter how small, away from its home. Those who don't follow the rules and take the stone end up being cursed with bad luck. Every year, the castle receives parcels from greedy tourists who tried their luck at stealing portions of the stone. These parcels are returned with the intention of lifting the curse of misfortune. It is said that once the stone is returned, the curse will be lifted, which is most definitely good news. I guess the moral of this curse, however, is to not be greedy and just follow the rules.
Number 9. Doorknobs. Asylums are often known as being incredibly haunted. This comes from the fact that many people believe ghosts and spirits come around from having a traumatic death or having unfinished business on Earth. With the history of mental health care practices as scary and unethical as it is, it's no wonder that these sort of places are busy with spiritual activity, especially after they've been shut shut down and abandoned. This seller on eBay had 2 doorknobs that he claimed to have taken from an abandoned asylum that apparently had many reports of strange noises and other paranormal activity taking place. These aren't just nice antique knobs, but instead hold the trauma of angry ghosts who will want to make your home as terrifying and haunted as the asylum they came from. The person who owned them said that doors in their home would often open without cause, and they could hear people's voices when nobody else was there.
In our number 8 spot today, we have The Hands Resist Him. The Hands Resist Him is a painting created by artist Bill Stoneham, and it is supposed to represent the doorway that connects our world with the world of the spirits, sort of like the doorway to the other side. This is extra suspicious considering owners of the painting have claimed that they have seen the characters in the painting move, or sometimes even disappear at night. The painting is said to depict Bill as a child looking quite sad, holding a doll with very creepy hollow eyes. In the background you can see mysterious hands reaching towards the boy. The creepiness of the painting is only elevated when we hear the stories of the reported 3 people who passed away after coming into contact with the painting. It ended up kind of disappearing for around 15 years, which is definitely very concerning, until it popped back up on eBay. Even then, the seller warned potential buyers that the painting was haunted and claimed that the boy in the painting would come out of it and scare them. The painting ended up being sold for $1,025 to a buyer in Michigan, and at this point it's unclear if they've had any trouble with the rumored hauntings and curses. In our number 7 spot today, we have The Orphan's Story. This is a book that was originally written in the early 1600s, but it didn't end up getting published until 2018. The Orphan's Story is about a 14-year-old Spanish boy who heads to the Americas. You know, kind of a classic coming-of-age feel-good story kind of vibe, but not exactly, and that is the reason it took so long for it to be published. While the curse in this book doesn't come from the story itself, there is something dark lurking in those pages. The book's publisher, Belinda Palacios, who worked on the book for 2 years, explained that throughout those years, she was often warned of the cursed book and how every publisher who had tried to work on it before ended up passing away in a mysterious way before they could finish it. When Belinda looked into this, it turned out to be true. Her research showed that those who tried to edit the book before either found themselves in horrible accidents or with strange illnesses. Luckily, Belinda made it through the process unscathed, so let's hope that maybe the curse has been lifted? Either way, it's probably a book I'll just stay away from. In our number 6 spot today, we have the Whaley House. The Whaley House is located in San Diego, and it was built in 1857. The site that this family house was built on was actually the location of San Diego's first public gallows, so as you can imagine, it's a pretty good backstory for a haunted site. Right after moving in, Thomas Whaley reported that he could hear the footsteps of Yankee Jim Robinson, who had been hanged at the gallows just 4 short years before the house was built. After moving in, the Whaley family began to experience a bunch of family tragedies, many of which actually happened inside of the house. The Whaley house is now a museum, and apparently the family members continue to haunt the site. These paranormal occurrences are often accompanied by the smell of cigar smoke and heavy perfumes. In our number 5 spot today, we have the Destiny Ring. Rudolph Valentino was an incredibly famous silent film star before he passed away at the incredibly young age of just 31 years old, and there are many out there who believe his untimely death was caused by the Destiny Ring. This ring is one that he picked up from a California jeweler. Before purchasing it, there were warnings and stories which claimed that this ring was cursed, but Rudolph decided to go ahead with the purchase anyway. It is said that after this ring came into his possession, his luck began to turn. The movies he starred in started to do poorly, some even flopping, and his career began to struggle. From there, he fell incredibly ill, and when he passed away, he was wearing this cursed ring. From there, after his death, his lover ended up receiving the ring, but once it was in her possession, she too fell extremely ill and decided that at that point it was best to give the ring away. All of the owners after that were reported to have died in strange ways or under mysterious circumstances, which has led to the ring now being placed in a bank vault, all locked up so that it can hopefully never cause harm to anyone again. In our number 4 spot today, we have the Cursed Portrait. Bernardo de Galvez was born in Spain in 1746, and he went on to become a military leader. He became well known for helping American colonies during the War of Independence, attendants before he apparently passed away under mysterious circumstances in 1786. There is a portrait of Bernardo that resides in the Galvez Hotel in Galveston, Texas, which is said to be one of the most haunted hotels in the world, and that makes sense because this portrait is said to be one of the cursed objects that gives this hotel its spooky title. The portrait is located at the end of a hallway in the hotel, and guests have reported the eyes following their every move. People also report a cold or uncomfortable feeling when they get close to the painting, and this is said to be Bernardo's spirit. Some people even swear they can feel him following them around the hotel. It is also said that any picture you try and take of the portrait will come out blurry and distorted unless you ask Bernardo for permission first. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Screaming Skull. The Screaming Skull resides in the Burton Agnes Hall in England, and it is thought to have belonged to Catherine Ann Griffith. It is said that Catherine was the youngest in the family, and she was the one who enjoyed wandering around the property the most. One day while she was out strolling around, she ended up being surrounded by a group of robbers who took all of her possessions and then viciously harmed her and left her for dead. She was found and brought back to the hall to be tended to, but unfortunately a few days later she succumbed to her injuries. Before she died, she was upset about the thought of leaving her family, so she asked them to remove her head after death and keep her skull so that they would always have a piece of her around. The family agreed to her face, but after her passing they buried her body, head still intact, because to be fair, it was an odd request. I don't know if I would have done it either. After her burial, the family began experiencing some extremely strange things around the house, like bumps and moans and horrible blood-curdling screams that they could not find the source of. This is when they decided to follow through with the request Catherine had left them, and the strange occurrences suddenly stopped. After this, at one point, a maid had found the skull, and in her surprise, she threw it out of a nearby open window, and alas, the strange occurrences began again. In the end, it was decided that the best policy was to place the skull in a secret spot within the walls of the house, probably behind some paneling in the Great Hall so that its presence could be easily ignored, and so that her spirit can reside in peace in her beloved home. I guess the lesson of this one is to follow the wishes of those who have passed, because you never know if their spirit is gonna stay lingering around afterwards. In our number 2 spot today, we have the Book of the Sacred Magic by Abramelin the Mage. When you're a practitioner of magic, you probably don't give the same sort of gifts that non-magic folks do, so it is no surprise that Abramelin gifted his son a book of spells and curses. In the early 1900s, this book was translated into English, and ever since then there have been rumors swirling that the book is cursed, which makes a ton of sense considering, like how I mentioned, it's a book of curses. Rumor has it that the cursed nature of this book, in part, has to do with Abramelin's belief that everyone has their own personal demon. The book holds instructions on how to get your demons under control through rituals and supernatural situations, and it is always risky to reach out to the spirit world, so maybe that's why everyone feels like this book is cursed. It's looking like unless you absolutely know what you're doing, the contents of this book just might be too powerful. Those who have had bad experiences with the book explained either bad luck or hauntings from the spirit world are what await those who dare to read it. In our number 1 spot today, we have the OBVODNY Canal. This canal is located in St. Petersburg, Russia, and it really creeps me out. This man-made canal was built in the late 18th century, and ever since then there have been extremely strange occurrences at this location. Construction workers would complain of headaches. They would also sometimes even have random outbursts of violent behavior that was really uncharacteristic of them. But the craziest, most unsettling part is what has given this location full cursed status. Many people have attempted to take their own lives here. Sadly, most of the attempts have been successful, but the few people who have been saved have explained that they have no idea why they did it. They say that they didn't really have any intentions beforehand, and some have even said they felt some sort of invisible force pulling them into the water. Apparently there are some sinister souls that live beneath the surface of the water here, and there have even been reports of seeing a lady in white in the water before she suddenly disappears. Long story short, remind all of us to never go here.
In our number 10 spot, we have the Donald Trump mask. It's probably cursed because along with how funny it is, it's also terrifying. Imagine seeing someone wear this walk by you. If they had, a similar build to him and they wore like a turtleneck, then I would probs think it was him. The extremely orange face with the white eyes is too much. Too funny and terrifying at the same time.
In our number 9 spot today, we have the Belcourt Castle chairs. Belcourt Castle is located in Newport, Rhode Island, and it is a former summer cottage. Construction on the cottage started in 1891, with it being completed in 1894, and inside there is a ballroom. This ballroom is important because it is said that it holds a group of haunted chairs. People who have visited the castle have reported a ton of strange happenings regarding this specific set of chairs. The reports include things like feeling chills racing up and down their spines, or feeling a strange sensation or a shift of energy while standing near the chairs, and some people have even explained how they have been pushed out of the chairs by an invisible force. I feel like just hearing these stories might be enough to explain the energy shifts some people are feeling, but actually being pushed out of the chair by some sort of invisible force would be absolutely terrifying, and I have no explanation for that.
In our number 8 spot, we have the faceless carving. This is an item of a mother and daughter hugging that's a carving made of willow tree. The only thing is, the mother and daughter do not have faces. Look, I love my mom. She's one of my best friends, and I love cheesy lovey-dovey products to show that you love someone, but this isn't the one. I don't know, man. Seeing this, I got the instant creeps, and I personally think this item might be haunted. There's so much detail in the figurine. Why leave the faces blank? From what I've gathered, there are a lot of items similar to this made from a brand called Willow Tree, and honestly, I think their intention seems to be to make some sort of comforting merch. At least that's what they say in their marketing. But personally, there's something spooky about these figurines without faces. Faceless items just feel too horror movie for me. Quite possibly haunted and therefore cursed. In our number 7 spot, we have the creepy pen holder. Okay, so this item is just creepy. It's a pen holder with a little red man figurine lying on the floor, and the hole where you put your pen in is right in its heart. Who the heck thought of this? What was their thought process? Who were they imagining this guy to be? And why don't they have better friends to say, hey man, maybe don't make such a low vibe product? The world is low vibe enough these days. This item is not cursed in your typical ghostly way, but it definitely is just low vibes to begin with, so anyone who buys it is sure to continue the low vibe train and sit in a bit of a crappy headspace. In our number 6 spot, we have the LED mask. Look, I'm conflicted. On one hand, this is kinda cool to look at first, if you're into LEDs. On the other, it's very creepy, and also it can't be good to wear LEDs so close to your face, can it? I don't know. I don't know much about electricity and lights, but something makes me nervous about wearing lights on my face, and I'm concerned that no one even asked the seller about that. The mask itself is also the face of something out of a nightmare, so there's also that. I could see a John Wayne Gacy of this time using this mask while plotting his next kill, and that just gives me the shivers, not gonna lie. With its creepiness and the fact that it's probably not very safe to wear LEDs on your face, at least for long, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this product may curse you with some kind of low vibe situation in your future if bought. In our number 5 spot, we have a kitty salt and pepper holder. Look, I'm a cat and dog person. I love them both. I sway a little more on the dog side, but whatever, they tend to give you more love. Anyways, my point is that I love all cat and dog merch, but this is terrifying. This is a cat salt and pepper shaker that could have been made cute and adorable, but it looks like it may possess you. First off, the cat is dark gray with shades of black. Could they have not made him white or orange or give him a cute yellow collar? Anyways, it's really the face that's terrifying. Couldn't they have modeled the face off of the cat from Shrek? It's so cute with the big eyes. No, they made the cat look like it will probably eat you while you're sleeping. In our number 4 spot, we have the toilet mug. I'm throwing this one on the list because it's clearly cursed to make you want to throw up every time you have your morning cup of tea. This is a toilet tea mug. I can't. Just why? If you are someone watching this and you have bought this item, please explain in the comment section below. It's just so beyond gross. It's definitely a funny gift, but also a waste because it's so gross that I just can't imagine anyone drinking from it and not feeling like they must now run to the real toilet. Anyways, if anything, I want to argue that it's cursed with not being used much and definitely will make people feel ill. In our number 3 spot, we have the Let's Summon Demons shirt. Let's not. Maybe let's go outside and play in the grass under the sun, or make chalk drawings on the pavement, or beat Pokemon Gold again like it's 2002 and do everything but summon demons, okay? Why is there a shirt that is encouraging people to summon demons? Clearly the creator that made it was being possessed by demons himself or herself, and the demons gathered together to plan how they can possess more people, and alas, came upon the plan of encouraging people to summon them through a t-shirt with cute humans holding hands while standing on a giant pentagram. In our number 2 spot, we have a satanic ring. Whether you're religious or not, I'm sure you can look at this product and feel uneasy. It's a gold-plated stainless steel ring that has a devil skeleton with a cross on its forehead. It's extremely dark. Anything to do with the devil just makes me uneasy, but honestly, there's nothing about this product that feels positive. Even as a Halloween ring, I feel like it's just too much. The vibe around it is quite low, and I'm pretty convinced that anyone that buys it will be doomed to feeling low while wearing it. Could be just me, but I believe that we should be careful with what we put on us, as objects carry energy, and even if you got someone to cleanse an object, something like this, you'll always know that its maker had low vibe intentions when creating it, so therefore it could always possibly be low vibes. In our number 1 spot, we have the Furby doll. Guys, stay away from this doll. I had to put this in first because I had so many creepy situations that happened with this doll that I'm convinced it's possessed. Also, it's not just me. Literally, this was trending a few years ago where people told their possessed Furby doll experiences, and I instantly felt more creeped out as that totally confirmed my own experiences. Literally, I would be talking to my mom and the doll would say something that would be in response to what we were talking about. Or it would just, make noise or blink when the battery wasn't in it. I'm telling ya, this item is not to be played with. If you have a haunted Furby story, oh my gosh, please share in the comment section below. We want to hear it.